Tonight, we're cutting through the noise. This isn't a polished version the networks want you to swallow. This is the ugly, raw briefing of what's happening right now. No soft takes, no corporate PR. You're about to see why the story you've been given about Charlie Kirk shooting and now this bomb scare that just happened, and just none of it adds up. Okay, we got the details. Nobody's talking about. Nobody wants to talk about them. You know, it's kind of like my short today, man. I noticed there's a lot more soy drinkers on Instagram today, by the way. If you're not following me on Instagram, you're wrong. Go follow me on Instagram. But I posted the same short I did today. And people on YouTube are cool. I love YouTube, man. This is the jam. YouTube is the jam. The people on YouTube are far better than anybody I've ever dealt with on any other platform. That's why I spend all my time here. But I do spend a lot on Instagram too. So go follow me there. But Instagram has some unique individuals. Anyway, let's start before we get into all that. I want to discuss this, man, coming from, serving in the military. Pete Hegseth stood up, dude, and spoke to the brass. He took it to their ass. He said it in plain: no fat bodies, no beard bros, bring back combat fitness, professionalism, and a warfighting force. That's what I voted for, okay? Listen to him real quick.
The Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT. So can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a four-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units
should be common sense, but it's not, man. I tell you, a lot of us veterans, the old crusties like me, we look at the service now and it looks completely, it doesn't even look remotely the same. And so again, man, and I don't know where you stand politically, but politics aside, you have to agree with what the man said. We need to be fierce professionalism. The professionalism has went astray just in the world and in general. But focus on what your job is, and your job is in the military. Whenever you go talk to a civilian and you tell someone that this person's in the military, they immediately imagine John Rambo, and that's how it should be. When I was growing up, every military man that I ran across looked like he would rock your world. He would knock all your teeth out. So I loved it. I think what he has done is just trying to bring back the military to what it was. And so you don't have to like the guy. I personally like Pete Hegseth. He's a man of the troops. That's why I like him. He's maybe has some questionable things in his personal life, but listen, every veteran has those skeletons in the closet. Trust me. I didn't join the military to be some kind of pansy. I joined to get tattoos, drink, and fight. I mean, and curse, obviously. But I'm kidding. But I'm somewhat kidding. But anyway, it's what I voted for. I like what Pete Hegseth is doing, and I think that's what America wants back. And while some of us are trying to sharpen the blade, someone else is trying to snap the damn handle. Because when a country starts getting serious about readiness again, the chaos merchants crank up the game, and I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of, and rightfully so, with this PT thing. That's going to just dismiss a lot of generals. I mean, because a lot of them are overweight. Period. And so, being a leader, being an example, you got to set the example. It's why, whenever I talk to people that young men that are joining the Marine Corps, I tell them, like, you have to earn your Eagle Globe and Anchor every day, man. Like, you represent. When you go around and tell people you're a Marine, like, you need to look the part for the rest of your life. Just period. That's what I believe. You're carrying that heritage on your back the rest of your life. So if you're a leatherneck ranger, whatever you are, you're carrying history on your back, and you got to represent that culture the rest of your life. Now, let's talk about the questions around Charlie Kirk shooting. There's a lot, rightfully so. Okay. And I want to tell you that we, you know, the Utah Valley University prosecutors have charged Tyler Robinson, which this is the guy they said that's done it, but there's a story. The story's full of holes. Okay. Candace Owens has came out and gone on record saying that Robertson's own parents don't believe that he shot Kirk. She claims a so-called family friend confronted the parents and then pushed Robinson to turn himself in. She even alleges that Robinson never set foot on UVU campus. So if that's true, what are we looking at? A patsy, a scapegoat, a setup? We don't know, but we're not getting straight answers. And I'm going to play her clip, but I want you to stay with me because I've got a lot more stuff. This is going down a dark hole, and you need to stay checking it out.
Learned is that his father does not believe, his parents don't believe that their son committed this crime. Come in here and arrest you and things. Of most interest to me, what I've learned is that his father does not believe, his parents don't believe that their son committed this crime. I was like, huh? Excuse me? That's a far cry from what the media has been telling us. Remember, the media presented this amazing story. The father realized his son was guilty, so it goes, right? And then he phoned over a friend to help him convince his son to turn himself in, because this guy, you know, this mysterious guy was a friend and just had a connection with Tyler. And eventually they said, you got to do the right thing here. We know this is you. That was the vibe. Certainly that's what the media was putting down for us to pick up. Well, I was told actually that it was kind of the opposite. That quote unquote family friend, who we learned was a former detective with the police force, at least, and so therefore has strong ties with the police station, informed the family. It was that in-between person that informed the family that Tyler had been identified as the shooter. He recognized him. He knows Tyler. He gives them the heads up. And then I'm told, and I believe this, that the way in which he got arrested, or rather turned himself in, was because that family friend slash neighbor slash former detective told him, hey, it's best for you to turn yourself in because there's only one of two options here. Either you turn yourself in and everything is peaceable, or you know, the SWAT team could come in here and arrest you and things would get crazy. So that's what happened. He went over to their house. Tyler was called over. Tyler was bewildered. He disputed the idea that he had murdered Charlie Kirk. In fact, according to my source, Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus. Tyler, it turns out, which has already been revealed, was accepted into Utah State University, not Utah Valley. And that's actually interesting if you pause and reflect on that, because we didn't really consider how on earth Tyler became not just familiar with the layout of the campus, but familiar with the rooftop layout of UVU campus. So familiar that he knew exactly how to scale across the rooftops to duck down in order to take in almost.
So this is a point that I don't think I addressed clear enough, that you to conduct some type of operation, right, at a level that you're trying to survive it, you're trying to escape, you know, you have to know your area of operation. So he like she's saying, people at that school wouldn't even know how to access that roof. I mean, and people say, oh, no. I mean, when I went to college, I wouldn't, man, I went to college for years. I wouldn't tell you I wouldn't know how to access the roof. I wouldn't know. Some of these buildings, when I've looked at them on the 3D maps, I don't see even a way to access them, but there were people on the roofs. And I seen a guy that actually went there showing the building, showing there couldn't be any access. And I know a lot of people saying Candace is crazy. The problem is that Candace has a larger following, so she can get intel from people that a lot of us may not be able to get. Now, she has the ability to recognize the patterns here. I recognize the patterns. Many people do. A lot of my friends do that are also content creators. We're all, I mean, we talk amongst ourselves, and you have to be careful about just throwing stuff out. So I think she is even being careful in the sense of not just throwing out information. I could be wrong. I don't know. I've never met her in my life, but just the fact is that she was very close friends with Charlie Kirk. I don't think that she would just spray nonsense. I think she truly is trying to dig in, because I've seen her do that before on other things, and she turned out to be correct. Anyway, the bottom line is what she's saying is completely accurate. And something that I failed to give more detail is that she is saying that he didn't know the area. How would he know to get in these places, to do such a brutal assassination with people surrounding him? The thing is, let's say he even knows the area. He even learns what the area is. The problem then goes to, how do I do this with the crowds? Because you don't know how the crowd is going to form in that area. There may be crowds on the sides you can't get to, right? So that's what I'm trying to get to with this.
Most impossible shot at a Charlie Kirk who was sitting beneath a tent. How did he know how to do all of that? Had he been there before? That he knew where Charlie was going to be sitting in it, that he would have that shot from on top of the Losey Center? What? Right? I would actually, and I don't know, but I would imagine that even actual current UVU students don't know that possibility. Like, they're not even that familiar with how to scale the rooftops.
Yeah, I think that's very valid, and I think she's right. Now, but we don't know, but we're not getting straight answers. That's the thing. We're not getting straight answers. This is the big red flag to me right here. Kash Patel, who just said that the FBI, he defended the FBI on January 6th. He said that, if you didn't know this, I was going to do a whole video on this, I may, but he basically said that the FBI was not there to create the chaos. They were there for crowd control, and they came later. Then why in the hell were they dressed up as MAGA? You would come there overt force trying to calm the crowd in uniform, not undercover, helping breaking down glass. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, he laid it out in his own words, okay? Listen to him.
Roof about 15 feet. He drops down to the grass below, Mr. Director. We do not see anything that looks like a gun in his pants. We don't see it. Where is the gun, according to the FBI, in this video? And I understand that this is just surveillance from quite a distance, and it's grainy, but we don't see anything there.
Yeah. Well, as we know, and look, I walked the steps myself when I got to the crime scene.
Okay, this is something Kash Patel is notorious for when he's trying to evade a question. He did the same thing about Epstein. He starts putting himself, I walked the steps. I walked into, whenever he was talking about where the files were for the Epstein, I've been in that building. This is him trying to dodge the question.
At the university there in Mormon, Utah. And
when people lie, they give more information that's necessary, and they talk around the subject.
What happened was the shooter, as you saw, jumped off the rooftop, and then we retraced his steps to where he discarded the firearm in a wooded area next to the campus. And I walked that ravine, and he discarded the firearm in its entirety with the towel wrapped around it. And
so he's saying that he didn't answer the question. Okay, the question was, why do we not see that footage? And this is a big thing that we're going to get to in a moment. We did not see the footage. So he says, well, we traced his steps in the woods where he ditched the rifle. He didn't answer yes or no, we saw the rifle.
One of the critical pieces of information we were able to pull was DNA off the towel, and also DNA off a screwdriver that was found on the rooftop where the shooter was positioned in a
Keywords: DNA on towel, DNA on screwdriver that was left on the roof. But he never says DNA on the rifle. Right? That's what he says. And despite UVU being blanketed with surveillance cameras, poles, hallways, courtyards, the best footage we get is this grainy footage here that we have seen a million times. I've shown it. Okay. Grainy, low quality, ambiguous. You'd think for the biggest public assassination of a conservative figure this year, we would see one crystal clear frame of a suspect holding the weapon. But we get this Bigfoot picture here, okay? We get this Bigfoot picture. This is what you get. No rifle there. Sorry. I'm not going with that. We also get just a blurry picture of what they said is Robinson. A skinny kid, hat, sunglasses. Dude, really could have been anybody. Yeah, it kind of looked like him. Really, his hair looks longer in the arrest photo than the photo they got. Ask yourself why the clearest footage never makes it out. Now, let's just scroll through. Someone took a look around the campus. This is the footage we got, right? That really doesn't look like even the guy. Really, we can't really see the guy. There's cameras covering every freaking building, ladies and gentlemen. Every building. This is where the supposedly Bush shooter, the conspiracy was. There's a camera right there. Now, this is days later. They got the police tape up now after the crime scene was completely rampaged right afterwards. There's the mysterious tunnel, whatever that is. But look, every hallway, dude, every pole, I mean, cameras smothering this place. And look, there's one there. I mean, and the best picture we get is this thing here. And those ones in that stairwell. In the stairwell. And I'm not saying you got to release all the footage but dude, you could have gave a crisp one. Look at all these cameras. You could have gave a crisp one with a man running with a rifle. I didn't see a rifle. I didn't see one coming in. I didn't see one going out. I was told they found one in the woods with DNA on a towel and a screwdriver on the roof. Talk about Lee Harvey Oswald BS. Now, really, look at that. Cameras everywhere, dude. Everywhere. I don't know. Okay. And let's just jump to today for a moment before I get too far. I ain't got to the good stuff yet. Just stand by. We're going to get there. There was a bomb scare today before the Turning Point USA's event at Utah State University. Suspicious package had to be detonated by authorities. It should have been front page news everywhere. Man, they just assassinated Charlie. And now conveniently, a suspicious package that was reportedly detonated appears in the same state. What's going on in Utah? Check it out. Here's the video. Fire in the hole. Boom. Yeah. Think about this, man. A couple weeks apart, in one state, a conservative leader is gunned down, and then a conservative gathering is disrupted by a bomb scare. Classic intimidation doctrine. Take out the leader, scare the crowd, yet mainstream treats this like a footnote. Coincidence or something coordinated? I'm starting to think coordinated. And that's where we get into foreign intelligence asset. Here's the question nobody wants to say out loud. Foreign intelligence asset. I'm not saying it. Other people are. I'm not saying Tyler Robinson's a spy. But I'm saying that the Daily Mail came out today and said that the FBI is probing a militant armed queers group for ties to Robinson, whispering about foreign funding, scrub posts, and hidden network. That's not my headline. That's not my clickbait. That's theirs. Okay? And you may say Daily Mail. Don't worry. I'm going to play something else. This is the leader. Iranian ties. Okay? Iranian funding. Okay? Now, let's hop over. Fox.
Might be post-assassination, pieces of a puzzle that might be put together, that there might be a foreign component to it. Yeah. Again, We don't know for sure. I know it's being discussed. Have you heard the same thing?
Yes, there is a group or two of interest that are in the Salt Lake City area that they're looking at just because of certain recent activities overseas and certain intelligence shared by a foreign.
Moon. Why would Tyler Robinson be involved with a group that had foreign intelligence ties? Look at the pattern. Same thing. NGOs, shell outfits, community organizations, George Soros, or whatever acronym of the week you want to call it. They show up at protests, pallets of bricks appear like clockwork. They escalate peaceful demonstration into riots on a dime. They feed the chaos machine. This is the oldest play in the influence war book. Okay. Destabilize from within, use deniable assets. Tyler Robinson, obviously deniable assets. We have BRICS money that's aligned, socialist donors with CCP ties, and hidden funders. These names have been floated for years. At the same time, we have the ADL. Yep. They're busy labeling Christian identity believers as extremists. And they turn a blind eye to the various acronym groups, foreign back pipelines, bankrolling radical left street groups. That's not that's not oversight. That's asymmetry, right? Also, do you know who owns the ADL? If you don't know, I'm not even going to say it. Go Google it, look it up, and tell me how the pieces start fitting together constantly. Constantly. And then I want to show you this. I ran over this guy today. I don't know the guy, but Goon 6 Actual. Okay, on Instagram, he took a 30-06, a pork neck, and he shows what the damage actually looks like. Okay, check it out.
It's part of this theory or conspiracy theories that are floating about. Charlie stood about 6'5". You take his body mass, if it was proportional, his neck would have been about 5.5, maybe 5.75 in diameter, giving him a circumference of maybe anywhere between 15 to 17 inches of his neck. So what we're going to do is we're going to simulate that with a pork neck. So we have pretty hefty pork neck here and solid bone, a couple inches of meat. We're going to see if we can get a bullet to stop in it at 100. And this time I'm pushing out. I'm going to go to 175 meters. And we're going to see if we can hit this right square in the center and get a 150 grain bullet to stop. Now remember, it's a core lock. It is designed to stop. That's what it's designed to do, but it's not designed to stop. Here, on just ballistics gel alone, the 150 grain core lock from a 30-06.
And a core lock is a hunting round. It's meant to stop. But like I stated, I think Jimmy Watson stated, and Mark from Centerline, everybody I've had on here, that the soft tissue of the neck, it's not like the body where you have just muscle, back muscle, and organs and stuff like that. This is very soft tissue.
Is going to have almost 24 inches of penetration. There we go. That's our close approximation to a deer neck. Well, up to Charlie's neck. So, and again, for size reference, let's see what we got.
Wow. Looks a lot different, right?
All right, for the next.
And he really wrapped that thing, like packed it, like tighter than actual the neck structure would be. And he followed up with a video here. Let's show it. Slow motion. I mean, just obliterates it. Yes, that's Goon 6 Actual on Instagram. He's got these videos up. Look at that. And they said no exit wound. Man of Steel. Man of Steel. Now, if you notice how the media frames it, any Christian patriot group, you're domestic terror, even right now. Any militant left group with foreign money, community activist. That's cover. Let external players run influence ops on U.S. soil without shots fired, right? Disposable assets like Tyler Robinson, like Thomas Crooks. And every time somebody tries to share a light on it, man, the footage goes grainy. The posts disappear. The narrative shifts. You'll have all the bots or maybe the soy boy NPC's limp wrist, they'll come on there saying, oh man, everybody grieves differently. Well, I've lived a pretty rough life, dude. And man, I grieve pretty damn bad. My friend died 2 months ago. You saw it in the video, man. I was seeing the video. I had to do a speech the next day, and I almost started crying then. And I don't cry for nothing, dude. I don't cry for anything, right? But look, I'm not here to make unprovable accusations, okay? I'm here to demand receipts. I'm saying that I want to see, because this don't smell right at all. Show the affidavit, show the bank wires, show the Discord logs, show the travel records, the bank statements, make them release the redactions. That's how you break the cover and expose the network. I don't want to hear about DNA on a towel and a screwdriver. I want to hear about it on a weapon. I want to hear gunshot residue. And this isn't even about left versus right anymore, man. It's about good versus evil, bros. If it's about manipulation, it's about assets, funding, chaos, and control. And let me tell you something, most of these people ain't even in the U.S., so there ain't no way to even stop them here. That's the problem. It ain't even the swamp. It's something higher level. The same people involved with Epstein. It ain't going away. That's why I got to stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Black Scout out.